So all of you heard about the new augment for Grendel's feast ability called Gourmand. It's an augment you can get from the Red Veil faction if you have 25k standings points, and what it does is, it turns feast energy consumption to health consumption. This means that if you cast the ability, it will drain your health instead of your energy, and it will drain health instead of the original energy per second. The health drain of the augment does scale with both duration and efficiency mods, but putting almost all duration mods in your build, then adding 175% efficiency, will only consume 50 health per cast, and 7.5 health per second drain. However, that would be a meme build and will not work in a real mission, since Grendel needs more than just efficiency and duration to survive. His survivability relies mainly on having high health and pairing it with high armor once he consumes enemies in his belly. At maximum, he can consume 40 enemies and store them in his belly, giving him at least 2000 armor value. Now, if you happen to have a full Umbral mods build, then have Arcane Guardian. With the 2000 armor, you will have about 90.97% worth of damage reduction to health. This feat can be achieved with the Gourmand augment. I have tried a Spectrosiphon build in the past with Grendel, and I think it was the most efficient build in maintaining the high number of enemies in his belly. But once enemies get around 30 inside your belly, the energy drain gets really ridiculous to the point that you can't sustain it even with the Rage mod. With Arcane Energize and energy dropping from the Spectrosiphon, the new augment does one thing, and it allows Grendel to be a super tank in the game. For new players, I know some of you were hoping to fill your belly with tons of enemies using this augment, but sadly that won't happen. As I have said earlier, there's a limit of 40 enemies that Grendel can consume. The only way I can see this augment being useful is allowing Grendel to be a good tank, by maintaining the 2000 armor even if he consumes 40 enemies inside his belly. But wait, don't forget about the health drain. Once you consume above 20 enemies, the health drain will be absurd even if you build it with high duration or high efficiency. The only way that it can counter it is by subsuming Gloom into Grendel. In theory, it would allow you to keep your health at base, since you will gain health back from hitting enemies with your weapon, or damaging the enemies inside your belly when Grendel decides to curl up like a meatball. However, this is not happening since Gloom doesn't work with Grendel's feast ability. You can regenerate health when feast is active, even if you are smacking an enemy with a weapon, nor when damaging them with corrosive while they are inside your belly. So, does this mean that Super Tank Grendel is all in paper? Not really, as there are other methods that you can keep your health at least high enough, even if you are full. The most basic is his Nourish ability. Every time Grendel stomps with his Nourish, you can replenish health while feast is active with the Gourmand augment. The only problem with this is that the health value you get from Nourish sometimes is not enough for the amount of health drained by the augment. The ability is slow in terms of casting speed, and the health value is not enough even if you put a solid power strength build. It's an option, but not the main course for health regen, so you can maintain your health at high levels. One of the most reliable ways is using the Vazarin Focus and the Protective Dash ability. The Protective Dash ability will heal Grendel at a rapid state even if he had consumed 40 enemies in his belly, and the best part is, Vazarin's Protective Dash gives short invulnerability to Grendel so he can recuperate health safely. The only downside is, it will be hassle going in and out of your Warframe just to heal Grendel with Protective Dash. Again, you can make this an option and not something to solely rely on. There are other things that can heal Grendel, and in an effective way. When I say effective, these are those things that can be used in a real mission. Grendel with the Gourmand augment can be healed with any healing abilities. Any healing abilities would work, which in fact, there are a couple of these in the Helminth system, excluding the Gloom ability of course. You can use Well of Life, Voracious Metastasis, and even Reeve also works. The only problem with Reeve is that once you reach a certain threshold in the number of enemies present in your belly, the ability becomes mediocre at best when it comes to healing and maintaining Grendel's health. The same goes for the other abilities I have mentioned earlier. The best subsume ability that pairs well with the Gourmand augment is Garuda's Blood Altar, turning this Grendel into a demonic glutton being. What separates Blood Altar from other healing abilities is that it heals a percentage of lost health, and not like other abilities that regenerate only a specific amount of health per second. It does the job done, in keeping Grendel's health at high levels even at max 40 enemies at his belly. The only problematic part of building a Blood Altar Gourmand Grendel is that you have to sacrifice some mods, and only equip those you think are needed for your playstyle. In my case, I sacrifice duration and energy just to have decent range for my Blood Altar, and a whole lot of health for my Grendel with the Primed Vigor mod included. Also, I added adaptation and for energy regen, just to help me recast Blood Altar, I use the Rage mod. I am lucky that I have Arcane Energize since it pairs well with the energy regen of Rage to help me have enough energy to recast Blood Altar when I need it. But, if you don't have the luxurious Arcane yet, then I suggest that you remove Streamline in this build and give it more duration so the ability will be in the field for a little longer. Take note that you can only cast 3 Blood Altars, and when they do intersect, that intersection point does allows you to regenerate health a lot faster. That is why I decided to have more range in my build. If you think adaptation is slowing your energy regen, then you can remove it and replace it with Streamline. But remember, tinkering this build would require another former. In PC right now, there's an Umbral former from Teshin that you can spend if you like to try out this Grendel build. Otherwise, you'll be putting a lot of former on this Grendel just to make him super tanky with the new Gourmand build. Lastly, Arcane Energize is not necessary and you can go with Arcane Guardian and Arcane Grace by the way. Arcane Grace does heal your Grendel and it's one of the key components in keeping Grendel alive at max 40 enemies in his belly. The thing is, once you lost a lot of health, Feast will stop working and you will throw up all enemies, but your health will not be restored. There's a certain health threshold before you will throw up enemies when using the Gourmand Augment. The only way to survive is if you have the Martyr Symbiosis mod while using a Vulfapilu or you have employed invincibility. Otherwise, you need to deactivate Feast if you think that you are consuming too much health. It's truly a high-risk, high-reward tank technique for Grendel, but wait, there's one more neat trick that I would like you to know before you start using this in a real mission. Melee mods that heals, like Healing Return and Life Strike, also work with the Gourmand mod. If you have a Healing Return set up in your melee, then you can heal the amount of health lost without a problem. Not to mention that you can also have Blood Altar, then Vazarin's Protective Dash, and your Nourish ability. You can use this all to maintain a Gourmand Grendel tank build, and I hope you will enjoy it in Steel Path survival runs. Well, this is the only mission that's worth running Grendel at the moment with the new Augment in my opinion. Let me know your opinions about the new Augment in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you find the video informative. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.